We've just spent the day at the Tour of Britain hanging out with Team Cofidis on stage 1 of the women's tour. Absolutely fascinating day. Come along for the ride. Someone finally started chasing.
Okay, we have 2 climbs. The numbers you have on the stem is the start of the climb, not the top. And you have the length of the climb on the other side. First one is the longest of the day and actually the longest of the week. So for the finish, we go all the way around down. The finish is a long straight line. This is from this point to the finish is 1 kilometer, so it's still quite far for the finish. You will have headwind from there, tailwind there, and cross tailwind on the last kilometer. I hope they will go and try to be quite active on the start, from the start of the race towards all the duration of the race, and I hope they will not wait for the sprint, because if they wait for the sprint, they wait for what, 3rd place, probably.
I think I need to be in the top 5 wheels in all of these corners.
Probably, yeah. Top 5 to 10 being the max limit. Because after that, even if it's 900 meters, it's long, but it will be...
As long as it also curves as well, so if SD Works have the inside line, it's going to be hard to come around anyway.
I rather if we could use those corners as our finish line, and then I'm first. And I like, if you guys die and then you're done and I'm the first rider, that's fine. I can just slot back behind the other teams.
Yeah,
but
I think that's a better plan then it's easier to do that than to move up.
Exactly. So that, I think, should be our process goal for today. If it comes down to a sprint, for me, then that's what I would like to do today, to try, and just that puts us in a winning position, and then it's up to me to figure out the rest.
So that was Arthur just finishing off his rider briefing. Really impressive setup actually, and it was great to see all those sort of questions and a real strategy coming out as well. Let's hope it pays off. What I want to do now is take a look at some of these bikes. So I've just had a quick catch up with the head mechanic here, a bit of broken French and English, but I think I've got the main gist of some of the limitations here. Now, all the girls are running tubular tyres here. A little bit of that is a restriction of what's available from Karima. The men's team are actually running the clinchers, and a little bit of that is a restriction from the tyres available from Michelin at the moment. So interesting setup. The girls do get to choose whether they want the deep section or the narrow section, and one of the girls has got the very nice carbon wheels I'll show you in a second. What's really interesting is nearly all of the girls have got their saddles set all the way forwards, and some of them are running some very long stems as well. The real combination here of SRM power meters, Shimano Dura-Ace token bottom brackets as well. But I think the general vibe is that as soon as the Look power meters become more available, the whole team will be switching on to the new Look power meters. Gear ratio choices for today are pretty brave. They've got 40-52 on some of these bikes here on an 11-30 cassette, so pretty impressive. So this is the bike of Sarah Roy, the team's GC contender and sprinter. She has quite a stack of spacers on there and a super long stem, and she is running the sprint shifters as well, the only one in the team running sprint shifters. And interestingly, she's also gone for the very shallow 30mm deep wheels. This is Kirsty's bike. She is running very nice creamer wheels with the carbon spokes, and she also gets the SRM power meter as well. Very nice setup for Kirsty.
We can communicate with Arthur, but also with the riders underling, so we can talk to each other.
Yeah.
We just have to push this little button.
Yeah.
And then we have to talk into it. Yeah, because of wind.
Yeah.
It's hard to understand each other. But it's easier for Arthur to understand because he doesn't have the wind either.
Sure.
So you can communicate with everybody.
That's really cool.
That's smart, isn't it?
It is.
It hasn't been on because of COVID. So it's the first time they're doing it again since 2 years. So I'm excited it's back. It's a good and well organized race.
We are 5 minutes from the start, hanging out in the team car, just waiting for the girls to get going.
Thank you.
for your company and enjoy the race. Time advantage reduced for our low leader, now 20 seconds, 20 seconds.
20 seconds, Susie, 20 seconds. You can push a little bit more just not to be catched too fast by the bunch.
So what's happening right now, JC has gone off the front for Team Cofidis, and after he got a lead of about 40 seconds, someone finally started chasing.
Several riders now forcing the pace at the head of the peloton with 33.3 kilometres covered.
Time for a quick update. We're about 80 kilometres in. There's been several breaks over the big Queen of the Mountains, but most of the peloton is coming back together again. So let's see if the second half gets a bit more lively.
And gap remains 15 seconds. 15 seconds. Leading group working well together, but peloton chasing hard.
Gap is 15 seconds, 15 seconds. Come on, girls, come on.
The service convoy rider 111 is coming up through the service convoy from the back.
My radio is not working. I don't know.
Okay. I think it's in the back of the car, so I'm gonna need to stop and I'll call you back.
But I have no radio.
Okay.
Maybe medical car?
The car behind. I'll go ask.
Okay.
Is it possible to have some paracetamol for Nicola? Thank you.
Arthur, can I ask about your setup here? So you've got an iPad with Velo Viewer.
I've got a Velo Viewer and sometimes we watch TV on it as well, because most of women's cycling is not on national TV.
This one is, so you've got Eurosport on here as well.
Yes.
And is this a little bit out of sync, this behind the race a little bit, or is that live?
Yeah, it's always it's live, but you always have some small delays and you have to have an internet connection as well. Come on, girls, first part of the climb is the steepest. First part of the climb is the steepest. Climb is 6 kilometers long at 5.5% average.
And then of course you've got race radio that all the teams get, and then you just spoken on the radio that you can talk directly to the team as well.
Yes, we have a radio tour with race information.
And as the peloton also starts the first Queen of the Mountain climb of the day, the gap remains 35 seconds.
And we also have a team radio with communication within the car and the riders.
Okay.
And the other car that are filling on the side can have this radio as well.
So we're just a few kilometres to go in the town of Llandudno. There's a leading group, and sadly no one from Team Cofidis is in it. Arthur, thanks so much for that invitation. I had a great time. It wasn't too much of a hindrance to you. Not the result you were looking for today, but can you just roughly talk me through the race and the good bits, especially what you thought went well?
We had a plan in mind to be relatively aggressive since the start of the race.
Yeah.
So Josie did quite good. She was in the front and she was actually waiting for some other team to go.
Yeah, she tried, didn't she?
She tried. Yeah. She was in the front for a few, 10 kilometers, waiting for a little bit of help. But no one came. So the first 2 hours of racing were quite slow, with 33 kilometers per hour average. So it was an relatively easy start, and the race went really down after the second repertoried climb of the day.
I think this is all part of racing, dealing with the emotions of getting the motivation going and then dealing with the defeat, because defeat's going to happen. And your role is DS is to now regroup and think about tomorrow.
Yeah, for sure. For most team in cycling, you fail more than you succeed. So you have to be able to deal quite well with failure before you are able to succeed when it's possible. So yes, actually that's a huge part of what we have to do.
Huge, probably the biggest part of what you do. So other than that, all the fueling strategy, all the girls reporting that they were feeling fairly healthy.
Yeah, we are. Usually we have some girls that tell when they are not feeling good or they have trouble with nutrition. So
yeah,
I've not had time to debrief with everyone yet today. So maybe I'll have a more clear vision of this later today.
Super. Thanks again for inviting me. I've learned so much about women's racing, especially and racing and the role of a director of sports chief. Exactly how much planning you put into all of this and how you manage the team. It's been absolutely fascinating. I really hope you guys enjoyed that behind the scenes look. Thank you so much to TU Cofidis for having us along. We did get to speak to some of the riders, but they're all a bit shy and getting ready for the races and didn't get a chance to get a camera. But we learned so much about their nutrition and I hope I can cover that in some later podcasts for you. Thank you so much to Arthur for having me along. Again, I learned so much from the team car. What you see here is just a small glimpse of those hours that we spent in the team car together. It was a really insightful day for me and I hope you guys got a little glimpse of the excitement that's going on behind women's racing right now. If you like this sort of video, please give it a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button and please put your comments down below. I'm sure myself and the entire team are really looking forward to hearing what you've got to say. All right, see you on the next one.